Lauren and her maid Rita Farron are both captured by bandits, and Lauren was about to be raped by one of them. That is, until the arrival of a large armored knight named Ark, who promptly slays them with a single swipe of his sword. Before all of this, Ark awakens in front of a tree and is left perturbed by his situation. After calming himself down, he assesses himself and his equipment and realizes that he's inside of the body of his game character Ark. Recalling that he fell asleep after playing the game, Ark tries out his wyvern slash move and is stupefied by the power behind it. Growing hungry and sadly without food or funding, Ark casts a gate spell to teleport him somewhere, but is instead teleported off a cliff. Ark takes off his helmet to drink from a nearby stream, but realizes that his head is that of a skeleton. Remembering that he chose the skeleton avatar back in his old world, Ark fathoms that if he entered a town without wearing his helmet, he'd be treated as a monster. He plans to try and avoid drawing any attention to himself and teleports to a nearby town. In Luvert, Ark encounters a woman arguing with an investigator over his failure to obtain information she hired him for. He, however, finds the town's mercenary guild and tries to acquire a license. Afterward, Ark slays a couple of boars and then an orc, carrying the proof of subjugation. Ark spots a group of bandits surrounding a carriage who slays the guards and surround a noble lady and her maid. Reflecting on how different the situation is from killing beasts or monsters, the bandits take advantage of the noble lady and her maid. We see again Ark slaying the bandits and this time finishing off the remaining bandits with his wyvern slash move. Once the bandits were dealt with, Ark checks upon the two ladies and learns of their names. And when Rita asks if Ark belongs to a noble, briskly, Ark comes up with a makeshift story of how he's a cursed knight that's on a journey to find a remedy for his condition, but withholds that from the two for now. As Rita and Lauren step into the forest to take care of themselves, Ark cremates the bandits' bodies with his fire spell and notes his lack of guilt for killing them all. Before the ladies return, Ark loots the bandits' belongings and uses their horses to carry it all. Heading back to the town, Ark rides parallel to Lauren's carriage driven by Rita, who thanks Ark for what he did, while Lauren makes Ark feel uncomfortable, as he puts it, staring holes into him. Rita then asks for Ark's name and he introduces himself as a humble traveler by the name of Ark. Back at the guild, Ark turns in his subjugated prey and receives a rune stone from the orc that he slew and is advised by the receptionist to remove them whenever you kill a monster. After a brief explanation of what runes can be processed into, Ark is given his license and he immediately checks into an inn and has the food served there delivered to his room. Indulging and imbibing in the food and drinks that he was served, Ark looks forward to completing some quests the following day. A single mother named Siona works hard for her two children, Marka and Helena. She heads to the field every morning as the sun rises. Wanting to help their mother, Marka writes a job request asking for help. Eventually, Ark accepts the job, which entails protecting someone as they collect herbs. He arrives at the job destination called Rada Village, and the village's gatekeeper directs him to Siona's home. Arriving at the location, both Marka and her sister Helena were eating breakfast when Ark knocks on the door and Marka answers it, immediately bewildered by the large presence of Ark, who informs her that he accepted their job posting from the mercenary guild. A brief flashback shows an interaction between the guild receptionist and Ark about the job, and the receptionist suggests Ark be gentle with the client. Back in the present, Ark is served tea and Marka politely asks if they can start immediately, to which Ark accepts, and thus Marka prepares herself for the work ahead. Back in the village, a hunter is distraught by something he saw in the forest that wasn't the usual fang boar that would be normally encountered in the forest. As it so happens, Siona arrives back in the village and hears from the gatekeeper that Marka left for the forest earlier that morning with a knight. Returning to Ark's group, they find the kabumi tree in full bloom, and the moment Marka approaches the tree, a giant basilisk appears from behind it. Noticing Ponta's upset behavior toward the beast, Ark deduces that the one responsible for injuring her was the monster. Before the basilisk could stomp on Marka, Ark briskly pulls her out of the way and then avoids its poison fog breath attacks. Analyzing the basilisk's attacks, while defending against its paralyzing claws and whip-like tongue, Ark defeats a giant basilisk that attacked Marka's mother Ponta by using his holy shield of Tudates and cutting it in half. The villagers will celebrate the monster's death, but Ark requests that it be kept a secret, and Marka understands. He deduces that the fang boars that appeared close by the village were drawn there by the basilisk. Ark slays the monster and presents it as a gift to the village, but notes he'd take the boar's fangs and rune stone as payment. By dusk, Ark and Ponta get ready to leave, and Ark is given a circlet of flowers by Helena. Later that night, within the forest, a large group of soldiers slay a giant basilisk of their own. The leader is given a status report of the total number of deceased and injured soldiers by his subordinate, and about how a single person managed to slay a giant basilisk by themselves. Amazed by this feat, the leader surmises that the one who slew it must be either a god or devil. Meanwhile, Ark enjoys himself in his room with Ponta and considers taking on a more challenging quest the next day. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I will be uploading a lot of videos just like this video.